Hello and welcome to Visions of War with me, Kingsley Glover. Now, as you can see, we're not in our usual place today. We're in an enormous hangar because we are at the Bovington Tank Museum down in Dorset, and we're here for Tiger Day. Now, you may have heard me mention Tiger Day once or twice before. It's one of the largest events in the Tank Museum calendar, and literally thousands of people from all over the world descend upon Bovington in Dorset to come and have a look at some tanks. And of course, you can see a few of them behind me, and if you are very eagle-eyed and peer right down to the end of the hangar, you'll be able to see the Tiger 131, which I've been waxing lyrical about in a few episodes, and we're going to be seeing more of Tiger 131 rocketing around some fields later on. And of course, if you are interested and want to come down here to Bovington yourself and have a look at some of these fantastic pieces of kit, you can come down and buy a ticket. But also in the show today, Bob will be taking you backstage, as it were, into the workshop to have a look at the chaps who are preparing Tiger 131 for the show this afternoon. And hopefully that'll give you a little bit more insight into what it was actually like to be a crew member in a Tiger tank. Now, if you've never heard of a Tiger tank before, well, clearly you've been living in a cave. But if you haven't, here is a little bit of background for you on the Tiger tank.
So this here is what all the fuss is about. This is Tiger 131, one of the last surviving examples of the Tiger 1 in the world. And what's particularly unique about this specimen is that it actually runs. And every year here at the Tank Museum, Tiger 131 is put through its paces, and around 3,000 visitors turn up to see the tank in action. It really was a remarkable piece of engineering, but it was also a very flawed vehicle. If we look at some of the features here, we have this big slab of armour, which is very uncompromising, and it isn't sloped such as we'd see on the T-34, for example, but it was so enormously thick that it could deflect any shell which was fired against it. The main feature, of course, up here is the mighty 88mm gun, which had enormous reach and enormous kinetic power, so that the Tiger could stand off at a distance and deal with just about any vehicle that was thrown against it. Massive armour on the turret, of course. And the other feature are these very, very wide tracks. The Tiger was designed to deal with the mud of the Russian front, and as such it had these tracks which are almost a metre wide, and that allowed it to spread the enormous weight of this machine, which was about 65 tonnes. Was the weight of a Tiger. It was designed, of course, under very difficult circumstances when the war was already beginning to turn against Germany, and the Allied bombing meant that very few were actually produced. Only something like 1,700 Tigers came off the production line. A number were obviously destroyed en route to the front. So it was a very rare beast in the field. Many Allied soldiers, of course, thought they were up against a Tiger when they weren't.
Now, if like me, you want to come down here and have a little look at some of these wonderful pieces of kit, you can of course come down and buy a ticket, or you can get yourself a VIP ticket for Tiger Day, which costs about £150, and that entitles you to, you might say, a backstage pass. You can go and have a look at some of these tanks for yourself, and if you have a little look behind me down below, I don't know if you can see, but in fact the VIPs now are having a little look around one of the Panther tanks down there. But we'll be telling you a bit more about some of those later on, and well, I'm very much looking forward to having a look at the Tiger rocketing around outside here. I hope you are as well. Come and join me.
The steering on it is very advanced for this year of vehicle. It's all done by hydraulics, and obviously what you can see, you've got a steering wheel right in front of me. That was one form of steering, and then in case of an emergency there was a backup steering, which is to my left knee. It's what's known as a tiller, like the normal conventional tanks have today. It's left and right tillers, so that'll be there. You've got those two forms of steering, but most of the time I use the steering wheel. It's very cosy. It's like the pedals, if I shine my torch on them, are very close. The accelerator and the brake and the clutch is almost like a little Formula 1 car, you know, basically. It's so cramped with me. If you wear big boots, it's quite awkward. And basically, I'll just go up directly in front for the vision slot here, and it's very restricted, so I can't not even see the track guards left and right. So when we're in a confined space, like moving out of the museum, we always have a guide in front of us, and when in the arena, it's not too bad. You sort of get a sort of sense whereabouts where you are and the size of the tank.
Right, now you're sitting in the main gunner's position of the Tiger. I'm a very small man. Yeah, I'm only 5'7". It's quite cramped for me. The seat I'm sitting on, you're sitting at an angle. Your sight is here. Yeah, you've got a monocular sight. So the gunner will be sitting in this position when they're in combat. Yeah, you've got a lovely sight focus, it's a clock dial, turret indicator down on the left. This tells me the position of the turret, because at the moment the turret's round at just on 2 o'clock. It tells me it's at 2 o'clock here, yeah, because my vision and orientation in the tank is very, very limited. I've only got one vision slot to the side of me where I can see out through the side of the turret, and obviously my main sights. No, my commander, will be standing behind me, he has a dial indicator off of his periscopes. So when he's head down, he will then tell me through headphones what the coordinates are. I can then traverse the turret onto target, pick it up. Yeah, the loader will load, because he'll be listening in on a conversation. So he will load whatever round is needed. Yeah. He'll load the round, and then obviously I can select the target, fine tune it on the traverse wheel. Now I'm sitting in the loader's position. This guy has got more room possibly than anybody else, but obviously he's got to manoeuvre about. He loads the gun. He's responsible for the coax machine gun mount, which will be here, which is fired by the foot pedal of the gunner. It's his job to maintain this and to make sure the full purpose, which is the 88 weapon, is in good working order. Feed the gun, make sure the gun's functioning properly, make sure all the systems are fully charged. That's his sole purpose, because without him, the gunner can't do his job. Invariably, it'll be the commander. Right. If it's a two-man turret, you'll have the gunner and the commander. That makes it very, very complicated, because obviously the commander should be there picking targets, listening to radio communications. For him to also load the gun overtaxes him. He's got to be tactical aware, he's in charge of the tank. So a three-man turret works a lot better.
Chris, so tell us, what brings you here to the Tank Museum in Bovington for Tiger Day?
It's an excellent example of some superb armour. Really, really nice. Thoroughly enjoyable. The history of it, all of them, is very, very good. Value for money. I'll come back again a year later for the same price. Superb. What's not to be liked? Everything is good.
I agree. So this isn't your first time here then?
No, I was here when I was 9.
Right, well, I'm here with Sandy, who is the wife of Paul, who I understand is the commander of the Tiger. Is that right? Yes. Well, first thing I want to ask you is, have you had a good day?
This was a wonderful day. Y'all have such a beautiful museum here. You do so much with all the tanks. I've been to several tank museums throughout the world, and this one tops them all.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. It's good to hear. I couldn't help but notice that you're probably not from round these parts. Whereabouts are you from?
I'm from Arkansas in the United States of America.
And so did you move over here to get married, or did you come for the tanks?
We came for the tanks.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. And do you think this is a good venue? Do you think a lot of people come?
Yes, and I think that it ought to be better publicized, because I think you could get a lot more people to come and visit the Tank Museum. It's a wonderful exhibit. The stories are great. The displays are great. Are you a fan of the Tiger?
Oh yes. Yeah. Big fan of Michael Whitman, Villers Bocage, all the history of the Tiger. Yeah. I also reenact World War II as well, so it's nice to see things actually working.
Yeah. Well, we do meet a lot of reenactors, of course. And have you had a good day here at Tiger Day?
Yeah, so far. Get to see some decent tanks. Nice to see they got another Tiger too. Because last time I came here 6 years ago, they only had the Tiger with the Porsche turret. Now they got the Henschel turret, which is actually my favourite one.
Well, it's not every day I find 3 ladies at a tank museum. So, ladies, tell us, why are you here? Have you been dragged along?
Yes, we started to get dragged along.
We haven't. I want to come, so I dragged them along.
Fantastic, that's what I like to hear. A young lady dragging the ladies along. Yeah, so have you had a good day?
Yes.
Yeah, what was your favourite part of the day?
Watching the Tiger.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's good, isn't it? Yeah. And so you decided to come in. Was it your birthday, or you just come in because you like tanks?
Tanks.
Tanks. Well, there we go. What says it more? Well, that about wraps it up for part 1. Hope you're having as much fun as I am. Come and join us again in part 2. See you then.